Well, it's time for the Anniversary 2021 update, and normally I wait until Friday or Saturday or so before the update to look at the release notes, but recently I've started hanging out on Discord, and one of the cool things you see on Discord is you get the information about the updates on Wednesday, a midweek before the update. So the Anniversary 2021 is scheduled to be updated next Monday on July 26th at your normal maintenance time. For me here in the Central Time Zone, it'll be at 2 a.m. And it says here that they're ending their summer with a bang to make the second anniversary extra special. The spirit of our summer festival will fuel exciting activities throughout July and August. There's plenty to do no matter how much free time you've got. From the smallest toe to a full plunge, we've got it covered. And it's looking like they're setting up enough activities so whether you play the game a lot or just a little, you're still going to have plenty to do. It looks like that's the intent here. The content shipment is quite significant this time. You can expect 2 new Tier 7 premium destroyers. One of them is the campaign prize, and the other one is available for global XP, which is 750,000 global XP, I believe is what I've heard. Anniversary activities and sales. To celebrate 2 years of sailing together, they wanted to make the special update sweet and ensure that everyone will have enough to do and grab. There's loads of stuff in the atmosphere, and they will soon post a handy guide to tell you about all the freebies, sales, deals, and activities going on in the next 5 weeks. The campaign is called Shock and Awe, and they've seen countless comments about there not being enough high-tier premium destroyers, so here you go. And the new campaign offers a ZF-6, a well-rounded German destroyer, as the ultimate reward. And the warship was based on a project to complete the captured French Le Hardy class destroyer, and it brings a smoke generator and offers outstanding ballistics as well as a solid AA suite for non-American destroyers. As usual, to obtain the ship, you need to finish the 100 milestones of the campaign with an active Admiralty backing. And considering it's their birthday, they didn't make the campaign any harder than it needs to be, and it's theoretically possible to complete all the missions during the last week. I guess I would have kind of expected that would be true for all their campaigns, but okay. Once a set of missions appears, they stay available until the end of the update on August 30. However, each new weekly set requires the previous one to have been completed first. So I guess what that means is if you weren't able to complete all of the missions for a particular week, it didn't just disappear. You still have the chance to complete it in subsequent weeks, I guess is what that means. Okay. Below you'll find the rewards as well as their corresponding doubloon values. The rewards include 7 retro crates, which will also be available through the Bureau and ranked battles, but they won't be sold. So here's Shock and Awe. You can see a graphic of all of the items that you'll get. And then down here you can see the rewards you get without Admiralty backing. A lot of boosters, a lot of camouflages, 11 promotion orders, 1 insignia, 1 commendation. The value of the rewards without Admiralty backing is 16,500 doubloons, which is $66. Here are the additional rewards you get with Admiralty backing of 2,500 doubloons, which is $10 cost. And the big deal here is the 29 promotion orders, 4 insignias, 3 commendations. Well, the German destroyer too. The total value of the rewards, including Admiralty backing, is 76,665 doubloons, which is $306. That gives you some idea what they value: 29 promotion orders, 4 insignias, 3 commendations, a destroyer, a bunch of winter crates, and all this other stuff. All right, so alternate American battleships. The Nevada, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Kansas can now be researched and helmed into battle at will. So you can go into the normal American ship tree and obtain these ships like you normally would. Anyone that had the early access ships will immediately have those unlocked. And if you had the Nevada and Tennessee, you can go ahead and probably easily get the North Carolina. The Kansas is now available as a Tier 7 battleship. That will be 18 million credits, I think. The North Carolina will be 9 million credits. And then you have to upgrade them with additional credits, but they will be there for you to upgrade and obtain. The Kansas is the top dog in the line, and it is an enhanced version of the Colorado. Colorado was kind of slow, but it was an okay ship, so that's very interesting. She offers a heavy broadside of 12 16-inch guns, good range, and a citadel that sits below the waterline. That's always welcome, but her speed might be a downer, and that kind of is the issue with most of the American battleships, is their speed is below 30 knots, which is that's kind of the ballpark where you'd like to be at. And slowest Tier 7 battleship, top speed 22.5 knots before the upgrade. So if you have an engine upgrade, you want to probably take a look at that. Italian additions, there's a couple new Italian commanders. Perhaps a little unexpectedly, they're adding 2 new Italian destroyer commanders, as well as a Tier 7 destroyer, Paolo Emilio. Giuseppe Fogosi. His base trait is in the fog. It increases the duration of the smoke generator. Squid's Ink increases the duration of the smoke generator. So this looks like a similar skill that other commanders have had. I thought that was smoke on the water, but okay. Luigi Rizzo is the second commander. The base trait is the Great Escape. Increase the duration of engine boost and reduce its reload time. The Swordfish is a second row skill, and it increases the duration of engine boost and improves torpedo damage. Paolo Emilio is an Italian Tier 7 destroyer with a respectable HP pool and easy to use guns, as well as quite powerful torpedoes. However, Paolo does lack range, so she has to execute all her tactics somewhat close to the enemy lines. Keep that in mind before getting her and while looking for the best strategies. The destroyer will be available for 750,000 global XP. It's kind of what I thought. So here's the Arpeggio of Blue Steel, Ars Nova collaboration. It's anime, I think. And yeah, they're bringing a new wave of anime characters to Legends. And here's the information about the anime characters and commanders and ships. Here's the 2 ships. 5 commanders and 2 ships. And you've got a crate that can drop any of them apparently, so look for that. Okay, so the legendary birthday in the Bureau. Just like last year, they're introducing a project to take a look back at the important milestones of the past year. And it's really encompassing most of the ships and events that happened in the year. They're offering retro crates, and the project is currently not time limited, but it was likely to become deprecated after a few updates, so be sure to start researching it if you don't want to lose it. Also, there is a note here that segments that focus on particular chapters of our history will ask for ships and commanders connected to those chapters. So maybe if you've completed most of the campaigns, you'll be okay. Ranked battles. This update has 3 seasons of ranked battles. 2 of them for the weekend warriors and an extended one for the rest of you. What's most important this time is they're venturing forth with ship tiers. To be specific, Season 14 utilizes Tier 6 ships. Season 15 goes straight to Tier 7, which is, I guess that's a big deal. A lot of people have been looking for that. Season 16 features a 3-league system that will allow you to climb your way from Tier 5 to 6 and then 7, also coinciding with League 1 at the most unforgiving rule set. If that's something you find exciting, you might like this bit of news even more. They're adding the arms race mechanic, which worked out well in the last arena session. Find out all the info in a dedicated blog post that they'll share on July 28. So there's some balance changes. First they're going to talk about matchmaking, and the big deal here is legendary ships can now division up with Tier 7 ships. So this probably should have been done a long time ago, but now they're doing it now. All destroyer commanders will receive a perceptive skill which increases the visibility of enemy torpedoes, reduces incoming damage to your destroyer, and shows the direction of the closest enemy ship. I'm guessing you're going to have to give up one of the skills that you have now to use a skill, but I guess we'll have to see how that works out. And there are significant changes to carriers at Tier 7. Namely, the aircraft groups. From now on, they will include 8 and 9 plane formations depending on the exact ship. The Parseval is a 9-plane dive bomber squadron with 3-unit strike groups for the base ship, same when fully upgraded, or an 8-plane torpedo bomber squadron with 2-unit strike groups for the base ship, 9-plane torpedo bomber squadrons, and 3-unit strike groups for the fully upgraded ship. The Shokaku has a 9-plane dive bomber squadron with 3-unit strike groups for the base ship, and it's the same when fully upgraded. It has an 8-plane torpedo bomber squadron with 2-unit strike groups for the base ship, and the same when fully upgraded. The Lexington has an 8-plane dive bomb squadron with 2-unit strike groups for the base ship, 9-plane dive bomber squadron with 3-unit strike groups when fully upgraded, the 8-plane torpedo bomber squadron with 2-unit strike groups for the base ship, and a 9-plane torpedo bomber squadron with 3-unit strike groups when fully upgraded. We've looked at all 3 top-tier carriers closely and made the described changes looking at such stats as average damage, lifetime win rate, and survivability, as well as cross-checked these with the ship's popularity. The change for Shokaku may look harsh, but the truth is that she is consistently outperforming Lexington. What this change does mainly is stretch the damage over a longer period of time, but the net difference shouldn't be dramatic. Importantly, while there are more planes, the overall HP for the squadron remains largely similar. This means that now the individual planes have less HP. That said, we'll continue to follow the carriers closely and prepare more changes as time goes on. So the deal here is the way that it used to be with a 6-plane squadron. Most of the time in standard you really only had enough HP in the squadron to make 1 dive bomb. The rest of the planes in many cases would get wiped out by AA or flak, and you rarely had time to go around and take another run. And so now they've made that even worse by adding more planes to that mix. So when you only had 6 planes to expend, you can go back and count on X number of planes because you only use 6. Well, now you're going to use 8 and 9, so that's going to put more of an onus on you to have less available when you go back to the aircraft carrier. So I think that this is not going to be what they described here is not going to be the way it's going to go. I think it's going to be worse, but I guess we'll wait and see. And they've removed some of the least used skills from Universal Commanders. The amount of picks for these skills was unfortunately so statistically insignificant that we decided to lighten up their skill trees so as to cause less confusion for new players. Barely out of peril, on a second thought, Smoke on the Water were removed from Togo, Horatio, George Dewey, and Reinhard Scheer. barely out of peril was also removed from Jellicoe, Van Essen, Dufont, and Compagnie. Okay, very good. I did use smoke on the water, but not on the commander that they mention here. So, miscellaneous changes and improvements. The big race map now has an epicenter mode enabled for Tier 4 battles. The epicenter mode works in a way that the closer you are to the center, the more zones you can actively capture. If you're in the outer circle, you're only capturing that circle. But if you go to the center, you can capture the whole thing. To be victorious, a team must capture the epicenter, win by points, or destroy every ship on the opposing team. Okay, so very good. So ship filters are going to have a change, and they show a picture of what the new ship filters will look like. Oh, and here for the inspirations, apparently you can go to the commanders and it will tell you, I think this is saying it will tell you what a certain commander trait focus is, so you can look at all the commanders that are focused on cruisers or battleships or what have you. Yeah, these all, well, I don't know, because some guys here, I'm not sure what this one is because the trait focus. Okay, so I guess I don't understand the commander filters. We'll have to play around with it. Because here they've selected for trait focus, what's selected down there is the icon for a battleship. But you've got guys here who are not battleship commanders, like, for example, Ernest King. He's an aircraft carrier commander, so I'm not really sure what this picture is showing. I guess we'll find out. Spawns should be more symmetric, and I think they've been working on spawns for a while, so you'll now have a Clear Sky Medal awarded for shooting down 20 enemy aircraft in one battle. Aircraft carrier-based bomber squadrons now have a new targeting reticle. Campaign interface has improved and streamlined. Aircraft stats in the loadout window should be shortened a bit. Consumables that can be switched are now made more obvious. You can open multiple crates at once using the X button for Xbox or square button on the PlayStations. Yeah, so if you hold down those buttons, all the crates will open and you'll get a list of what was in the crates. The detected ribbon will be awarded whenever you're first to spot an enemy ship. Has now been added for all ship types and their consumable planes. So previously you'd only receive the ship spotting ribbons while flying your aircraft squadrons in aircraft carriers. So there you go. That may help with the destroyers, especially if they start having some milestones and goals in the campaign for how many detected ribbons you get. That might encourage destroyer players to not go out hunting, but actually go to spot for their team. And this is cool. You're going to get a lot more historical camouflages. Here's the Bismarck. I think everybody has been looking for the Baltic camo, the legendary Baltic camo, and I kind of think this looks like it. So that would be kind of cool. I'll definitely be getting that for my Bismarck. And very cool. You can see the other ships here that have the camos: the Baltimore, Bismarck, Hipper, Z-23, Richelieu, Charles Martel, Shokaku, and Lexington. Here's what all those camos look like. And the highlighted text in the update notes says that you will be able to create this permanent camo from the loadout screen with 75 buckets of paint. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. And then there's some bug fixes. German squadrons now can fly until they're either shot down or the battle is over, as the other squadrons can. This may be changed in the near future. I guess I'm not sure what that's saying, because the German squadrons now can fly until they're shot down or the battle is over. This is, I assume this is when the aircraft carrier has been destroyed and you have airplanes in flight. They still keep going. I think that's what that means. Some squadrons remain invisible to players for a period of several seconds when taking off. change the descriptions. The last conquest camouflages for the Hood and Bismarck. So maybe they're going to say something about the Prince Eugen was the one that got the Citadel hit on the Hood. No, just joking. That didn't happen. That's a rumor on the interwebs. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see what the last conquest camouflage descriptions are, because I think there were some people who were nitpicking some of those descriptions. When I looked them up, they didn't really match 100% what you'd find on Wikipedia, for example. So it'll be interesting to see what those descriptions are. And the Rhine now correctly has 10 torpedo bombers in her hangar rather than 9. Yeah, I thought that was a feature, not a bug, but okay. Well, there you go. That's it for the anniversary update of 2021. Look like several cool things, especially those camos. I'll be looking forward to that. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you like it. Excellent. That is awesome. Didn't really expect that.